Hey guys, MissNotSoCool here, and I think I'm starting to hate BTS. Like, it's taking me a minute, but I'm thinking I'm starting to hate them. And the new album, Love Yourself Hurt, kinda sucked, and let me explain in 7 reasons why. First off, these boys are very rude and disrespectful. Second off, they've practically committed mass genocide among their own fan base of all things, killing at least half of them. And third off, well, I can't come up with a seventh one, but third off, this album has ruined me. It has ruined my life. I haven't slept in 3 days in anticipation for this album, and ever since it's come out, things have not gotten any better. I'm still waking up at the wrong times, sleeping at the wrong times than I should be, so yeah, BTS ruined my life. So fuck these guys. No, but in all seriousness, I hope I won't be reviewing BTS anytime soon in the future because it's not like I don't like them, because trust me, I do. I like them a lot, but the point of this series was to look at other artists and to review songs or random albums that I listened to throughout the week, and the problem with that is I haven't been listening to anything outside of BTS for the past 2 weeks. 3 if you include when I first got into them. So this is why I'm really open to suggestions for you guys to let me know, recommend me stuff that I should be looking into, or it could be an album, it could be a random song or whatnot. It doesn't matter. Recommend me something to listen to because I have not been doing well on my own with streamings and things like that. So let me know because I've been out of the loop when it comes to trends. When it comes to trends outside of BTS related stuff. But anyway, that aside, let's talk about Love Yourself Her, the newest album from BTS. It's available on all platforms now, so go check it out on YouTube, Spotify, or whatnot if you can't afford to buy the album. Before we get into this, let's start with story time. So I've been waiting for this album to drop since I got into them, so really for 2 weeks I've been really waiting for this album to come out. And funny enough, the day that it came out was technically a month after I just listened to them for the first time. When I decided to first listen to them, it has been a month now, so. And probably a month since I've been a quote-unquote fan, things like that, so. It was an interesting way of celebrating that anniversary. But anyway, I woke up around 4, yeah. Because the album was going to drop on September 18th, and where I am, it was going to be at 5 a.m. Other people, they were going to get it earlier, and some people were going to get it much later. But because I live in the U.S., in Eastern Standard Time, I was going to have it at 5 a.m. So I couldn't sleep that day. I hadn't slept the other day before that because I had to do some editing on a side project I was working on. So for that day, I took little naps here and there, but I couldn't really sleep. So I woke up around 4. Because they also did like a mini live stream on VA app, which I downloaded just in case, because I knew they were going to do something after they uploaded a music video, which they were also going to upload at least an hour before the album came out. Actually, no, the same time the album came out, they were going to upload a music video for DNA, and then 2 hours from then, they were going to do like some live thing where they were going to talk about behind the scenes stuff. So I did that. I watched a little bit of like their mini live stream before the album came out, and then when the album came out, I went on DNA and I streamed it, and I watched the music video, but I didn't listen to it because my brothers also wanted to hear it with me because they were also becoming fans as well, and we all wanted to experience the album together. So I made sure I didn't listen to the song. I watched the music video. I had the subtitles on from the closed captions, but I had the tab on mute so I didn't hear how it sounded. And I did look at like line distribution videos afterwards, still with the volume on mute, just to see who got what lines and things like that. But outside of that, I didn't know how the rest of the album sounded like. I had no idea. Outside of Serendipity and how the DNA music video looked like, I wasn't sure what to expect. So I planned that after school, I'll be able to listen to it around 5 p.m., exactly 10 hours after it dropped. But there was a bit of a hiccup here and there on using the computer, and my parents also wanting to use the computer and things like that. But anyway, I was able to listen to it around 8, and I posted on social media, like, yeah, this is going to be all that I'm talking about, so don't talk to me, unfollow me, things like that, as a fun little joke. So I listened to it at 8, and then after that, it's a short album, by the way, it's only about 30 minutes. So after I listened to the album the first time, well, the real first time, because my brother apparently wanted us to redo because he missed the first half of it. So we re-listened to it again, this time with him there. And then afterwards, we looked up the lyric videos because there were a bunch of them posted on YouTube already at such a quick time from earlier. And it helped a lot, you know? It helped a lot being able to figure out what was happening. I already kind of read the lyrics before. I didn't watch the lyric videos or anything, but I read the lyrics in genius.com without any sound. So I had an idea of what some of these songs were about, but with the context of listening to it while reading was somehow different to me. It was somehow a different experience, and it made it a lot more clear to me as opposed to just reading the lyrics without any sound or vocals to put the image to, if that makes any sense. But anyway, Love Yourself Her consists of 9 songs, at least digitally, and 11 if you bought the actual album. The songs listed on this album, digitally speaking, are the intro Serendipity, followed by DNA, which is the track that they're promoting a lot, followed by Best of Me, a collaboration they did with the Chainsmokers, followed by Dimples, featuring the main 4 vocalists without any of the rappers involved vocally in it, as far as I'm concerned, followed by the Pied Piper, followed by a actual skit from, I believe, an actual sound clip from their Billboard Speech Award show, when Namjoon was giving his award after they had just won the Billboard Award. And after that, it was followed by Mic Drop, followed by Go Go, or Go Rather Than Worrying, followed by the outro Her. And I believe in the actual CD that you buy it physically from, you get another skit called Hesitation, Fear and Hesitation, and then another song called See, which you can find on YouTube and things like that, lyric video speaking wise. But yeah, I'm gonna talk about each song individually and break it down, at least how I felt about it, what I anticipated from it, and what the actual reality of what I felt was from it. So, intro Serendipity might be the shortest song on the album outside of the skit, and it's the only song on this album that's a solo work of Jimin, so to speak, where he's the only one singing on it. Every other song afterwards has other members included and things like that, but this is the only song where it's just Jimin doing the intro, which it was a nice touch. The music video for this is beyond glorious, the song is beyond beautiful, and just overall perfect. Like, there's not much I can really say about Serendipity other than it's classic BTS. DNA is the main title track and first song you hear on the album, and honestly, I have mixed feelings about this song for 2 reasons. First off, the music video. My first reaction to the music video was mixed. I thought it was a little too heavy on the CGI, but at the same time, I enjoyed the choreography, and I did like the second half of the video more than I enjoyed the first half for some reason. Like the part when Suga starts rapping onwards is the part where I start to really get into the music video, and a little bit of V's intro, and slightly J-Hope's. But I don't know, I really get more into the second half of the music video than I do with the first half for some reason. I don't know why. And the same goes for the song as well. I wasn't sure what I felt about them using EDM as a, how would you say, as a chorus, I guess. I hear it's top tier EDM, same with Best of Me, because that also has an EDM feel to it. Although it's more Western than DNA is. That could be because they collaborated with the Chainsmokers, but still, I wasn't sure how I felt about it. It's not like they haven't done it before. I believe they did it with I Need You as well, and that was also a song that I wasn't sure about either, but upon further listening to I Need You, it did grow on me. So DNA was kind of the same way. The more I listened to it, the more it grew on me. I wouldn't say it's my favorite song on the album, but it's not a bad song to me. It's okay. Like, I think it's fine. The music video is also okay as well. I don't know if I would have picked this personally as a intro. Well, not intro, but like as a promotion technique. Ouch. Oops. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's fine. It's passable. Speaking of westernized EDM, Best of Me, here we are. The Chainsmoker collaboration that everyone has been waiting, dreading, and not wanting. And also wanting at the same time. So I wasn't sure how I felt about the whole collaboration, but I figured, you know what? I trust these guys. Let's see what happens. It it was sort of half what I expected, but also half what I didn't expect. It's an okay song. It is a song that I don't go back to a lot. Like, I like the lyrics to it. It's very sweet and things like that, but it is one of the songs that I least listen to a lot. So it might be my least favorite on the album, just based on the fact that I don't listen to it as much as I do with the others. But on its own, it's an okay song. It has a lot of EDM flair on it. It's top tier on that, apparently. So, I don't know. I can't really judge EDM that much because it's kind of hard for me to do that because I'm not that big into EDM. Like, I enjoy it here and there, but I wouldn't say I'm a fan of it. So, but I do like how this album is choreographed, or constructed is the right word to use. Because after DNA, it would make sense for Best of Me to come afterwards because they both have a similar EDM type feel to it. So that makes perfect sense how this album was arranged. Dimples is the song that includes most of the vocalists except for the rappers, although Namjoon did write a handful of the lyrics here. This was probably the first song that I really liked off this album that I kind of became obsessed with. And I kind of expected that going into it, just based on the title. When the title track was released, I figured it was going to be Dimple, or Mic Drop, or even DNA that I was going to like a lot, but I wasn't sure. In fact, I even had this joke that what if Dimple ends up sounding like what I expect Mic Drop to sound like, and Mic Drop ends up sounding what I think Dimple sounds like. So luckily that wasn't the case. Like, it did sound like as I was hoping Dimple would sound like, and Mic Drop would sound like, but still. It's an overall cute song. It's very corny in the same sense that Converse High was corny, and how a lot of their earlier love songs where Sheezus came from. Like, this is the same vein of that. Like, your dimples are illegal, so I call you a league girl. Like, it's that corny crap again, and I love it. I love it. I really do. It really gives that old BTS throwback to when they used to make corny love songs and things like that. And I don't know. I don't know if I like it because of the corniness and the fact that it's like Sheezus but only stronger, or the fact that maybe this pickup line might actually work on me. Granted, I don't have deep dimples, but the fact that someone would even mention my dimples that aren't even that noticeable in the first place would be kind of cute in a way. Like, huh, you took the time to really notice that instead of other things about my body. That's interesting. So I really do like this song. It's cute, it's adorable, and yeah, it's old BTS. Converse High BTS, back at it again. Pied Piper is an interesting song to say the least. I believe it was mostly written by J-Hope, and I can see why. I can see that. And also, the song is it sounds so sweet, but when you look at the lyrics, they are quite savage. Like, they are dissing their own fan base, but in a very lighthearted way. They're not calling them out, they are calling them out, but they're not doing it in a negative way. They're just telling them, like, you know what, you should focus on your homework, you shouldn't be getting obsessed with us and things like that. And we know you're making, like, tons and tons of, like, theories about our music videos, and you're just wasting hours on that, and editing, and things like that, and it's like, you know what, chill. Like, we appreciate it, but, like, chill. Live your life. Don't live your life through us. Live your life around us, and things like that. So it's a very bittersweet song in the sense that they want us to be there, be, like, persistent with them there, because that's how they came to be where they are, because people like us who have no life, I guess. But at the same time, he doesn't want us to ruin our lives for them. He wants us to be able to do well in school and things like that, while also still being part of the BTS fandom and being fans of their songs. So it has a nice message, even though I'm called out. Like, it has a nice message. I don't fully relate to the song because I haven't gotten that deep into the fandom, but there are a few things that I can definitely relate to, especially with the homework part and things like that. Like, yeah, that's definitely happened at least once or twice. So I think it was a perfect song to have, especially around this time, because they are growing more and more, in their fan base. More people are signing into their fan base and things like that. So it is important to have this message out there so that way this problem doesn't become a serious issue a few years down the line, or even next year, so to speak. The skit Billboard Music Awards speech was a nice touch. It really was very reminiscent to what happened this year, as well as reminiscence for them, showing how far they've come now. Because I don't know when the last time they've done a skit. I think the last time they did a skit was on their was it Dark and Wild? Or, I don't know, it was one of their really older albums. So it's been a while since they've done skits. So I was really looking forward to the skits coming back. And especially this one, because I knew this was definitely going to be something to do with the Billboard Music Awards. I didn't think it was going to be the actual speech. I thought it was maybe the speech, and then afterwards we'd hear like behind the scenes of what happened right after the speech. But no, it's just a speech, only with more like a microphone sound effect at the end, which makes sense because Mic Drop ends up being the next song after this. So it was sweet, it was nice, it was very reminiscent to what just happened. And it's crazy to think that this happened this year, just a few months prior before this album was released. So that was a nice trip down memory lane. Mic Drop was just, I don't even know how to describe Mic Drop. It is a very brag-worthy song, but at the same time, considering the context of how far they've come and how long it took them to be where they are, as well as how people had treated them while they were trying to get where they are, it makes sense why they would make Mic Drop. It makes perfect sense. So I'm not into brag rapping and things like that, but this is the one instance where I could get into it, especially since it's not just the rappers, everyone's involved in it. You hear the vocal line during the chorus, and I think that was the best thing they could have done for that. Because it's definitely not a cipher, and to tell the difference between this and a cipher is obviously in the chorus. The only time they did that was with, I believe, Cypher 3, where they had Supreme Boy on the chorus. But since he's not really a part of BTS, it felt more of a guest verse than really anything. But here it really felt like the team came together to really glorify into their success and things like that. So that was a nice touch. I really, like DNA, I only got into the song around the second half. The first half is fine, don't get me wrong. But upon first listening to it, I got more into the second half than I did with the first one. As soon as Namjoon finished his verse on this song, I really got into it. His verse was pretty good. And everyone was really feeling themselves on this song, especially when it came to the live performance. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend checking out. There's a live performance they did with a comeback, which they did like just a couple days ago. And it's really good. It's really good. It's probably my favorite performance they've done. I'm still deciding whether it's Mic Drop or Go-Go, because I love both performances from that comeback concert that they did live a few days ago on the stream. And I love them both for completely different reasons, but I still love them both. So Mic Drop, yeah, this song had me beyond shook when I first heard it. I was not prepared for that beat drop at all. It was quite literally a mic drop type beat. Like, it sounded like the beat dropped the same time the mic did. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Go-Go, which comes after Mic Drop, in a way was very similar to DNA to me in the sense that it took me repeated listens for me to get into it. It's a great song, don't get me wrong, but it took me a bit longer to get into it, but through repeated listens, it's becoming one of my favorite songs outside of Mic Drop and Dimple. Personally, I believe Go-Go is connected to Spinebreaker and Bepse in the sense that they both have awesome beats, by the way, like, pretty good. But also, I feel that Go-Go has a similar message that Spinebreaker and Bepse were trying to convey. Spinebreaker was always about, it was from an outsider's point of view of what kids are doing nowadays with the millennials, or so to speak. Like the type of kids who know they're broke, they know their parents are broke, but yet they're going to use their money to waste time like buying stuff they don't need, like buying like the latest iPhone or a Gucci sweater or something off of Kanye West's fashion site, which is just bullshit. Like, why would you buy like a white t-shirt for like this much when you could just get like a regular one down the street at like a thrift store? So it was kind of making, Spinebreaker was about that mindset, about why are you doing this and things like that, from an outsider's point of view. Go-Go seems to be from an insider's point of view of those actual kids, of why they're spending this much money. and why they've pretty much given up. Like, there's no hope for the future, so they might as well just have fun until they die, because it's like YOLO. You only live once, so might as well have fun with it, because how else are you gonna live through this life? You know, I just realized while I was recording this that this song actually reminds me a lot of Time of Our Lives by Pitbull, and by Pitbull featuring, what is he, Neo? Yeah, Neo. I'm not saying the whole songs are like similar or identical, no, both deals with different things, but I feel like the pre-chorus of Time of Our Lives from Pitbull featuring Neo, where Neo is like, I paid my rent about a week ago, I worked my ass off, but I still can't pay it though, but I still have enough to get up in this club, having a good time before my time is up. Like, that's generally like the gist of what he's saying in the pre-chorus before they like, ooh, I want the time of my life. And I feel like that pre-chorus is go-go, but extended into a longer song. Because that's basically it. It's like, yeah, they have their mortgage to pay, but it's not enough. But they have enough to spend on money on these, like, material stuff and have fun. So it's like, yeah, let's do that instead. So, it's a very fun song. It's very sarcastic. There's a lot of parody in it, which I enjoy. I enjoy that a lot. And I feel like it's very evident on the whole being poor but trying to feel rich and just having fun with it, even though you know you're gonna get screwed over by the IRS next week. It's very evident in J-Hope's verse and Namjoon's verse, and even in Jin's line mentioning the mortgage payment and things like that. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that little attention to detail right there. It just shows you, like, yeah, it's a fun song to sing to, but it also has quite an important message to it that they're trying to convey through sarcasm. And like Bep say, it is very much of its time, talking about what's current in this generation. I don't know how things are over there in Korea, but in the US, I can definitely relate to some parts of it, because it is something that we do have as an issue here, trying to keep up with the times, because wages are not going up, college is getting more expensive, houses are getting more expensive, and the older generation keeps telling us we need to work harder and we need to stop being so lazy and get a job, you special little snowflakes. But it's like, that's not the real problem here. There's much more to it than just that. We are working, we are putting our effort into this, but we're not getting the result that we need in order to live in this society, so to speak. So it is hard and it is frustrating, because just a few years back, when our parents were around our same age, they were able to hold jobs, get married, and have kids in their early 20s. While nowadays, for millennials, it's taking much longer for us to even get to that point. Sometimes we get in our 30s, maybe even older than that. So it is a frustrating thing to think about, and it's kind of refreshing to hear an artist use their platform to even mention that. And it is refreshing for an artist to even use their platform to even mention that. Love Yourself ends with Outro Her, at least digitally speaking, and I think it's a perfect way to end the album so far. I feel that it really did speak a lot in terms of how they felt with their idol life, while also talking about how this person is their weakness. When I first heard it, I didn't quite understand the chorus. Like, I call you her because you're my tear. I thought that was weird. Like, okay, first off, Namjoon, that doesn't rhyme. Second off, are you using slant rhyming? Because that also doesn't work. And third off, what do you mean she's your tear? And then I looked it up, and apparently her means weakness in Hangul. So they're not actually gendering the person that they're talking about. Could be man, could be woman, could be whatever, non-binary. We don't know who this person is, who they're talking to. It might not even be a person at all. In fact, I feel like it could be just toward their fans in general. And I know that might be like an arrogant thing to say, but I feel like all the songs in general on this album, aside from Mic Drop and Go Go, are dedicated to their fans. Maybe with the exception of Dimple as well. Like, I'm not sure about that. But yeah, most of the songs on this album seem to be dedicated to their fans, or trying to convey a message towards their fan base. And I feel like Outro was one of those songs that was conveying to them, like saying you're our weakness, you're our tear. But it can also be used as a way of like a love song, depending on how you see it, like, you're my weakness, and I have to be fake around you. I'll be the best me I can be. I have to dress up, put makeup and mask on, and things like that. So, it's a very bittersweet song. It sounds nice, kind of like with Pied Piper, but when you look at the lyrics, it's a lot deeper than you expect it to be, so. I really did like this song a lot, and I liked how each rapper had their own verse and just kind of let go. It was very chilled and laid back. And the fact that they each sung their versions of the Her But You're My Tear line was just beautiful. I really liked that arrangement a lot. Overall, in terms of how I would rate these songs, I feel like Serendipity is a 10 out of 10. Just, it's a straight up 10. DNA would be a 6.5. So almost a 7 if you round it up. Best of Me would just be a 6. Dimples would be an 8. Pied Piper would be an 8 as well. Skit would be a 10. Mic Drop would be a 9. Go Go would also be a 9. And Outro would be a 9 as well. So that's how I would rate it personally. And in terms of which ones are my favorite, in terms of how much I listen to them, it would have to be Mic Drop, Go Go, and Dimples that are my top 3 favorite ones, followed by Outro Her, The Skit, Billboard Music Speech, Serendipity, Best of Me, and DNA being the last ones that I listened to. So, personally speaking, I prefer the last half of the album more than I prefer the first half. And I would say I listen to from 4 to 9 more than I do 1 to 3. Although I've been listening to 2 a lot, but that's mostly from streaming. But like in general, like songs that I would generally listen to, regardless of streaming or not, it's going to be from 4 to 9 as opposed to from 1 to 3 in terms of its track listing. But even as that, like, I like how this album is arranged. It starts out with Serendipity and it ends with Outro. Like, I like how it's arranged. Like, the EDM songs are here. Then you have, like, the soft, like, sounding songs here. Then you have the skid here, which breaks from the sound that you had in the first half. And then it cleverly links back into Mic Drop, which is followed by Go Go, which then brings into Outro Her, which is a very old sounding song of BTS to me. It reminded me of Moving On. Like that whole, like, I don't know, it just reminded me of that. It reminded me of the old school BTS type of rap. So it was really, I liked this album a lot. It had a nice mixture of new BTS in terms of their EDM sound and also an old BTS. And it was pretty good. Like, the only song that I think was very westernized was Best of Me, and that's because of the Chainsmokers. But everything else felt, it made sense. Like, it made sense to me that this album would exist, considering where they are and where they are in life, and the fact that they've been working with so many Western artists nowadays. So this album made complete sense to me. Would I recommend it? Yeah, sure. It's not a long album. You can just put it on Spotify. It's only 30 minutes. It's not going to kill you. You can look at music videos. Well, not music videos. Well, one music video, which is DNA. And then check out the lyric videos that are available everywhere on YouTube. So yeah, definitely check it out. Personally, I think I might actually buy this album. Which is interesting because I've never bought albums before. But I think I might actually buy this album for my upcoming birthday in November because I really enjoyed the hell out of it. Another thing I want to mention is that before the album came out, I naturally assumed this was going to be Suga's era because the blue hair was back, he looked adorable, which is saying a lot because he's not exactly my favorite in terms of biasman, but I did enjoy him a lot, this comeback. And the fact he got to sing was also a big thing too. Like, I was not prepared for that at all, so I feel like this was really partially Suga's era this time around. And not only that, but I also want to mention that, and not only that, but I also want to mention that Jin got lines this comeback, which is something that I've always kind of been skeptical about when it came to this group. Like, I liked it, but it's just some of their older songs would kind of get on my nerves a bit because of the lack of fair line distribution. Like, I didn't mind it that much, but it was starting to become troublesome when I started seeing more videos of how little lines he got. So I'm glad they fixed that. They still have a long way to go, but the fact that he got at least 20 lines, so to speak, throughout the entire album was a big thing. He's really starting to express himself, and I love it. He was really great in this comeback. He improved a lot to the point where I feel like it's also Jin's era, honestly. But in all honesty, I think that this is everyone's comeback era, because everyone really put their all into this. Everyone was on point. It just felt like a natural progression. Hell, this might even be the ARMY's era even, because of how much the songs really relate to the ARMYs to me, so to their fan base as well. So who knows whose era it really is. Now, even though I don't have the album, I have heard the Hesitation and Fear skit, as well as the C, because they're on YouTube, and there's lyrics and translations for it on YouTube as well. And honestly, they are very personal, and I really liked C a lot. Like, I felt like C was a really great song. Kind of a bittersweet way of ending the album more than outro her, but it was really nice. I liked it a lot. And of course there are people that are a bit skeptical about it, asking for those videos to be taken down because it's copyright infringement, and also it's supposed to be a hidden track. Not everyone's supposed to be able to hear it. You're supposed to only be able to hear it by buying the album. But personally, I feel like that's a bit unfair. Like, I get the point of, yeah, it's copyright infringement and it does take away from the album, but honestly I feel like it does more helpful things than bad. Like, it does more good than harm to me personally. I feel like these videos should stay up because it gives you translation, which is what a lot of international fans need when it comes to these this group, when it comes to this song and album. Like, we need translations to be able to understand what they're saying, to understand the emotions they're trying to convey, and things like that. So for that alone, it should stay up. And if not, I mean, again, it all comes down to Big Hit on whether or not they should be taken down, because it's their company, it's their songs. So if they have no problem with it and they let these videos stay up, then they'll stay up. But telling these people, like, who uploaded these videos of lyrics to take it down or to delete it, or that they should feel bad about themselves, I don't think those comments are fair at all, because there are a lot of people that are international who need these translations. And not only that, there are also a lot of people who are unable to buy the album. They can listen to it free on Spotify, but they also want to hear the hidden tracks as well. So it's helpful for them, because either they can't afford the album or they cannot actually buy the album for other reasons. So it is a bit unfair to just keep it for certain fans and not for others. Everyone should be included in a way. So I'm all for inclusiveness. And I feel that, yeah, it really comes down to whether or not Big Hit wants these videos to stay up or not. I mean, again, it really is up to them. And as for people saying that these types of videos are taking away from album sales, I don't think they are, because chances are if these videos stay up, there's going to be people that will randomly come across them and might even become a new fan and then check out their other stuff and then eventually buy the album. So again, I feel like it's really more of a great way of exposure for BTS. And I'm sure Big Hit knows this as well. That's why they tend to leave most lyric videos alone, because they know that it helps, not only just in translation, but it also helps in getting more people to notice them, giving them more exposure. So, and not only that, there's also people that have claimed that, oh, these types of videos are going to be harmful to the group because this was only for, like, special fans. Like, so sharing it with other people, especially with haters, that's going to be very negative, because a lot of what they say and see are personal. It's their thoughts. It's for the ARMY to hear, not just for any random stranger. But I feel like even if that does happen, and there are some people like antis or haters that try to take it and put a spin on it, I feel like it wouldn't even matter, because the fan base has grown so big to the point where a lot of the hate are quite minimal and don't even make sense most of the time. And I'm sure the fan base will cut that shit down. Like, they will shut that shit down if there was spam hate comments, if there were spamful hate comments everywhere. So again, I'm not really concerned about things like that. I feel like that wouldn't be a problem anyway, and if it was, it wouldn't even be that prominent. Like, it would be dealt with very quickly if that was a problem. Despite the gray area, I don't think these videos are problems. What I did have a problem with was with the illegal distribution of the album on YouTube a day before the actual album came out or hours before it came out. That I had a problem with. The people who did that can honestly just go screw themselves, because that was just unfair and just straight up betrayal towards the hard work that these guys put through this album. Like, you don't leak a whole album hours before it comes out or the day before it comes out. Like, and the people that watch those videos are no better either. Said I would recommend listening to Love Yourself Her. It's a pretty good album, and it showcases a lot of the strength that the guys have in terms of different genres, because they've never stuck to one genre before in the past. And I tend to like artists that like to change things up. The same thing goes with Panic. They never really stuck to one genre. They always constantly change their sound with every new album, which keeps things interesting and fresh, in my opinion. So I'm sure this album isn't for everyone. Again, like I said, the EDM sound is not for me. Even though I enjoyed here, it's not something that I'm really big on outside of that. BTS was able to make it work, but most people don't make that work for me. So again, it's iffy. I'm sure there's going to be some songs you'll find here that you'll like more than others. Same with me. I don't know if you'll like the entire album, but me personally, I feel like I like most of it. There isn't a song that I would say I hate per se, just songs that I just don't seem to care for compared to others. But it's a pretty solid album, and I look forward to the other versions that they have, because it's going to be a continued trilogy. So yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Let me know what else you want me to look into, and yeah, I'll see you in the next episode or wherever I decide to make. So, bye guys, and stay cool.